Hello everyone, how's it going? In this video, we're going to talk about MULLEN, trading under the symbol MULN. This is a very exciting title to cover, with high volatilities providing opportunities and many ongoing projects that might fuel the speculations. At the same time, few people want to invest in the company in the long term. So in today's video, we will go through the latest fundamentals, the price actions, and my analysis as well as my recommendation, helping you make the best decision possible. If you appreciate my content, please consider to drop a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Also, please check out the links in the description section, as every help is greatly appreciated. Over the past few days, MULLEN went down from $1.61 to $1.40, and the closest support level is currently around $1.40. Over the past month, the support has been tested for a couple of times, but mostly in the recent weeks. And so far, it's still making historical lows, unfortunately, if we look at the whole thing from a scope of 6 months and above. The stock has already been under significant sell-off pressure from May 2022 onward, mainly because the market has lost hope and interest, and the shareholders, meanwhile, are mostly retail. And they also tend to come in and out very quickly. The volume of MULLEN shares has been around 15 million shares on average, with periodic peaks around 40 to 50 million shares. What this means is that the title has been certainly actively traded, but with a lot more sellers looking to unload their positions than those who want to increase their exposures. Another aspect to look at is the options market. Currently, there are more calls contract with the strike price of around $1 been transferring hands, suggesting that the market consensus still believes that MULLEN will keep trying to stabilize after the reverse split in the near future. Obviously, that is just one indicator out of many to look at, which indicates more of a general mood than pointing out an actual direction. An overall profile of MULLEN suggests that this stock attracts more, volatile shareholders than the other way around, as more people tend to trade in and out of the positions, increasing the level of noise in the stock before a clear trend might be identified. And even when it does, the price action puts its emphasis on a clear downtrend as liquidity has been slowly squeezed out of MULLEN. Slowly been very relative, of course. What we're looking at right now is whether MULLEN will be able to find a bottom to stabilize upon. For the time being, the bottom hasn't been reached just yet, and we will try to see whether the $1.40 level is sufficiently solid. MULLEN is an American EV manufacturer that has known several different iterations over the years, from MULLEN Auto Cars to Koda Automotive and now MULLEN Automotive. On paper, it is one of the companies with the longest continual existence in the EV sector, way before the current giants began to blossom into people's mind. MULLEN has tried over the years to gain traction by launching new products and announcing new partnerships in order to attract more capital in the sector that requires oh so much money in order to keep the ship afloat and the operations going. Does this mean that MULLEN lacked the capacity to stand on its own feet? Yes. Does it mean that MULLEN is so struggling to find its break-even point? Without a doubt. In fact, if anything, there are reasons to believe that MULLEN is now facing challenges that are even bigger than the issues from the past. People may have stopped believing in it, and the market has questions about its long-term sustainability. I mean, for example, people are sensitive to the CEO's reputation, the nomination of his associates on the board, and that a company has developed no substantial products so far, despite repeated announcements that they have done so. These aspects are not necessarily new. What is different with MULLEN this time is that even its announcements seem to attract less and less reaction from the market. And for that, we have to look at the management's past choices along with the global macroeconomic trends to figure out the causality. Mullen has had a habit of disclosing as little information as possible to the financial market, and that sometimes it even chooses to omit significant details like the identity of key partners and clients, as well as the financial health or even the existence of their key suppliers, such as the company manufacturing Mullen's batteries, which was advertised as one of the better ones in the industry, prompted its price to soar by more than 120%. Despite the fundamental and reputational challenges, there are two major elements that justify the continuing interest that people have in Mullen: volatility and short squeeze. Mullen is a small cap that is currently priced around its historical low. From a probability-based perspective, this would mean that the likelihood of the stock to go upward is far higher than to reduce from 20 cents to zero. After all, there isn't much space to go further down, whereas the logical development would be to reach higher levels when the timing is right. This would, of course, assume that Mullen somehow managed to continue its operations, or to at least maintain the going concern. This brings us back to the price volatility argument mentioned previously, whereby small caps have a tendency to experience irrational moves and sudden surges in both price and volume. If a certain number of traders decide to pull in, then from a percentage-wise perspective, this kind of price action can be very, very attractive, because a mere 30 cents increase can mean that the stock would increase by more than 100% from its cost basis. Mullen has obviously been greatly impacted by the ongoing market-wide bearishness, perhaps even more than the rest of the sector due to the lack of any substantial product in play and the absence of clear objectives. I don't mean that a company doesn't share any news announcements, but simply the fact that the public doesn't seem to take them seriously enough to reflect these in sales volume. The volatility seems, therefore, to be random for the most part, with some correlation to be predictable with Nasdaq recoveries and the conversation trends in online discussion. These online discussions are one of the keys to really understand what makes people buy or sell Mullen. Since retail traders are by far the biggest category of Mullen shareholders, these decisions often happen on a whim, with the assumptions that the stock may have massive redemptions in its short seller ranks, whether there seems to be a lot of tractions on a specific topic, and if there seems to be a sudden uptick in the number of conversations surrounding a specific topic about Mullen. These are highly random, or way too unreliable to be a determining factor, or so it seems. But if you think about it, how do most retail traders make their decisions? Is it really the fundamentals, the long-term tendency of an industry? When we're talking about Mullen, a small cap with doubts that they have more hustlers than genuine entrepreneurs? I mean, really, can we really tell whether the announcement of iGo in Europe would create a massive spike in the beginning, but barely any reaction when they actually began distributing? Or perhaps more telling than these two cases is the fact that Mullen share price tumbled by 60% shortly after they announced that they have managed to reduce the company's debt by $13 million, which is huge for a company of that scale, increasing greatly the company's likelihood to survive. But with all those announcements, I haven't really seen a logical reaction. And possibly because the focus is not dictated by logic or any sound business analytics, but by online chat rooms and forums. Therefore, I think that the key factor to take into consideration when trading Mullen is to accept that we are here as short-term speculators on a wobbly stock, hoping that there will be sudden price jumps to justify a participation in the equity. The overall impression regarding Mullen is that it is a company with clear tendency towards speculation, with large potentials of profit in terms of percentage, and mostly relies on irrational factors to boost the share price. So my recommendation regarding Mullen would be to buy the shares when the prices kind of stabilize around a solid bottom. It's not the case for the time being. So we want to see, we want to aim for better entry levels when what we want to see happens, assuming that additional stability will become available in the future. Until this really happens, I believe that it's better to keep looking or keep following Mullen instead of really going in at this moment.